Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to QGTV. Today we're on day 10 of Ramadan 2011 where we'll be doing an overview of chapters 12 and 13. Chapter Yusuf and chapter Ar-Ra'd. These two chapters are still part of the Alif Lam Ra set or block which we first started yesterday, although it has to be said that Ar-Ra'd chapter 13 is unique in the sense that its so-called mystical letters or muqatta'at are Alif Lam Mim Ra, not just Alif Lam Ra, but there's a meme there. So this we're just going to take note of this for now, and inshallah in the future we can look at the purpose of the muqatta'at and what it means in our reading of the Quran. So let's begin with chapter Yusuf. When I read chapter Yusuf this morning, it struck me that chapter Yusuf is a supplement to chapters 10 and 11. Reason is chapters 10 and 11 focuses on the personal reader. So the one person, as we showed, that the word Akim in both chapters were in singular form. So chapter 12, Yusuf, to me seems to be a way for the reader to achieve ascent in society. That's essentially the story of Yusuf, in fact. There are a few other unique features, or rather unusual features, in chapter Yusuf. The first of which is that it focuses on one personality, that is Yusuf himself, obviously, and Yusuf's story is expounded from beginning till the end. There are no other mentions of the story of Yusuf in the Quran, although Yusuf himself is mentioned. Two other chapters in the Quran, as far as I can see, two other chapters focus on one personality, and that is Toha, which is chapter 20. That focuses on Musa, among the loads of chapters which focuses on Musa, and chapter 71, which is Nuh, that focuses on Nuh. Again, Nuh is mentioned elsewhere. So chapter Yusuf is unique in this regard, in the sense that its main character, Yusuf, the main personality here, is not expounded upon elsewhere. Another thing is verse 3 in chapter Yusuf, which says that نَحْنُ نَقُصُّ عَلَيْكَ أَحْسَنَ الْقَصَاصِ. Verily we relate on you ahsan al-qasas, the best or the more beautiful relationship. بِمَا أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ هَذَا الْقُرْآنِ, in that we reveal to you, or we inspire to you, this Quran. So the Quran is in fact the more beautiful relationship unto mankind. In other words, its stories relate to us in the best way possible. So everything we do is actually already mentioned in the Quran, which matters to Allah anyway. An interesting thing is that this phrase Ahsan al-Qasas, the more beautiful relationship, does not appear anywhere else. Why does it appear here? Well, perhaps the story of Yusuf is comprehensive in that respect, that it is a relationship which relates to every single one of us. That's just my conjecture. I'm just trying to frame this in light of this chapter. Another thing is that the story of Yusuf is said to be ayat lis-sa'ilin, signs for those who seek. This shows that the story is for people who are seeking something. What are they seeking exactly? I think they're seeking for the answers in life. So the story of Yusuf shows how we can achieve that distinction in life. So that's the phrase lis-sa'ilin only appears in one other place, and that's not for any other Quranic personality, that's for nature. That is in chapter 41 verse 10. Next, we should also take into account that the story of Yusuf begins with him having a ru'ya, a vision. So this is part of our being as humans. We do rather experience visions. how do these visions get actualized in our lives? Well, as Yusuf's father said to him, he will be taught the ta'wil al-hadith, or the meaning, the inner meaning, if you like, of the event. So his entire life is an event, and the vision which he experiences, is the symbol, or contains the symbols of those events. So the story must be taken metaphorically. I mean, yes, this certainly happened to a personality named Yusuf, but we need to extract the metaphorical elements from the story so that we may apply it. Yusuf was betrayed by his brothers. Again, the theme is betrayal. Even though you're one of a certain group, you are cast out. You are put in a situation where you are helpless. Yusuf was thrown down the bottom of a well. Some people come and help you. Some travelers helped Yusuf out of that quandary, but they sold him off. So again, yes, he's saved, then again he gets sold off. Then he goes into the employment of an aziz, or someone who is honorable in society. The wife of Aziz tries to seduce him. So there he stuck to his principles. He did not betray his principles just to seek pleasure or to seek favor. So he got jailed. In jail, he tried to preach the message of Allah and used his capacities to the max. So when he used his capacities, people see that, okay, well, this person is a capable person, and thus he is able to get himself out of jail using those capacities. And he then shows his brothers that he has arrived, and he is able to honor his parents. He put his parents on the throne. That's verse 100. So here we can see that Yusuf's life's journey is something which contains elements for all of us to extract and use in our own daily lives. And that's why the story is لِلسَّائِلِينَ, for those who seek, the questioners. So the end of Yusuf's chapter is about messengers. So from verse 109, it talks about the messengers whom Allah sent before, and they were human beings having human experiences, as the ayat seems to allude to. Then at the end is a very powerful ayat. We have to pay attention to the wording here. It says, لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي قِصَاصِهِمْ عِبْرَةٌ لِلْأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. Verily, essentially in their relationship, in other words, in their stories which relate to us, are ibrah. Ibrah is an archetype, something which is of a higher example. Li ulil albab, for people of the core. These ulil albab, this term is used in many other places in the Quran. It refers to people who have understood the core of the human being. They understand the human condition and how the human being can achieve success. Ma kana hadithan yuftara. It is not an event which has been invented. So it's talking about the stories in plural as a singular story. Why? Because the story is essentially the same. And if we map this back to the story of Yusuf, we will see that the stories of the messenger has to have those elements. So that's perhaps the specialness of the story. وَلَكِنْ تَصْدِيقَ الَّذِي بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ. It is a confirmation, but it is a confirmation of what is between its two hands. وَتَفْصِيلْ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ, and a detail of everything. Not everything in one word, everything, two words. وَهُدًى وَرَحْمَةً لِقَوْمٍ يُؤْمِنُونَ, and a guidance and mercy for those who believe. They continue to believe, in fact. So here we can see that the stories of the messengers are in fact archetypes for us. They are not simply tales of the past, or if you read a book it says the stories of the prophets, they call to worship the one Allah. That's true, but there is much more to it than that. There is a social reform of society. there is self-actualization, there are elements which we need to take account of. Next we move on to chapter 13, Ar-Ra'd.